probably the smallest one I've done. Her the little girl's arm moving there now, most probably only about 2.5–3 millimeters long, and getting the mechanism to work with that was pretty tricky, but all in good fun. I've only got DC to this at the moment. I've taken the decoder off so you can see how I'm making this. The important part with this is getting the crank working the figure, which is the wire that's coming off the figure, this wire that's running through, which is going to be hidden, hopefully. I'll paint it black and you won't see it. But then I put a little block behind there to give it like a bearing surface for that wire, which I'm going to call a shaft there now. So you've got the shaft running through there. Now at the end of that, I bend that and make a very small bend, and then another bend, like a crank, a Z, if you like, a Z sort of shape. And that is then runs through the piece of tube, which is soldered onto the motor crank yoke. And that's the whole trick to it there, is getting that part there, that amount of offset exactly right. I made a sketch here of how I've done the man. That's how I've done the man, so he's going through, and the bit of wire, the tube and the motor, how it's all working there. That gives you an idea that got to have a piece of tube. You can't just solder on. This is this Z that I talk about. That Z there, that distance there, depends on how much movement that figure's going to have here to raising his arm up and down. The more you want the arm to move, the less that distance there is. And it's working with very fine tweezers and very fine pliers that I've modified to bend the wire to make those sort of things. Well, I've progressed a fair bit here. I'm pretty happy with the way things have turned out. I've added a TCS KA Keep Alive 1 servo capacitors there, so that's backing up any poor track work or conductivity between the rails and that. The trucks have got to get the wipers put on them, but I don't have the trucks, so I've got to send this back to TCS. They own it. There's the FL4. There's the two motors that I've got in there. And now we press 1, and we've got the little girl's animation moving. Turn her on or off. And F2, we get the man. So the family are on the back. We'll turn this around. I've still got to work with the camera in front of me, but so there you go. Now I didn't get sent all the parts with this, so the handrail is still with the JD at TCS, and the trucks as well, so I can't do too much more. All I've got to do is put in the lighting, and what I've done is I used Grant Line HO Clear lampshades with a 0603 surface mount LED in there, and I've already made the light board with 3 LEDs on it, so that's going to go inside the coach. And I've just got to connect the lights up, so that'll be the lights will be on F3, and then I need to put classification marker lamps on the back here. So that's the next step that I'll be doing after this, but I think that looks pretty good, being able to stop the man waving, and the girl waves, stop her waving, start the man waving, start the little girl waving. I mean, if you look at the size of this, this is pretty. Look at that. That arm is just over. It's just over 2 millimeters. So getting that to crank and work has been a lot of. It's been challenging, a lot of fun. I'm sure that JD's going to enjoy this. Here's another part with the Keep Alive. We can start and stop the girl, of course, and the man. But if I disconnect power from the, there we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, yeah, look at that, about 13, 14 seconds you can get, and that's a light function light indicator driving a little tiny motor, so it's drawing at probably 40-50 milliamps, and that's still holding up very well. So worthwhile putting these little Cooper Lives in as well. KA1s, KA2s, they're good value. There's a inside view showing the mechanisms working. Yeah, there's a little bit of noise, but if you've got a sound decoder on your layout, you're not going to hear that. No, you turn off the man. Very little noise on one. Turn off the girl, put on the man. You can just hear that. Now, like I said, you've got a steam locomotive running with the train. You won't hear that. But the important part with it there is that little the Z that I talk about. That's so important in getting the amount of movement of the figure, arm or whatever, horse's head, anything at all that's going. Getting that distance exactly right to get the amount of swing, arm swing. That's the important part. Makes it look realistic, and that's the whole idea of why I started this back about 2006, 7, yeah, at the end of 2007 I started with this, just to get other animations, other movements happening on the layout, and it's taken me a long time to get where I've got to, but I've got so many good little bits of fun.